Resonant Beings. Let's stream some consciousness. Reporting to you from Salinas River State Beach. Once again, the Moss Landing power plant in the background. I've been spending a bit of time out here helping out at the Elkhorn Slough Reserve Foundation. It's a good spot. You might just be able to see a heron in the background. The wildlife's part of the reason I like it out here. I want to talk about the direction we're headed. The direction we're headed as people, as a culture, all tying it up with this narrative that I keep wailing about. And to illustrate the point at being, I want to talk about our virtual and our real lives. Now, many of us today use social media networks like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, YouTube. What else? And they're convenient and nice in the way that they allow us to connect and stay connected with people that otherwise we may not be. But in the context of the direction that we're headed, what kind of lives are our involvement with such networks like social media creating for our current and future circumstance? I personally have a strong habit of spending a lot of time in front of computers and online creating digital media, primarily in the form of electronic music or recordings, and also in creating this video content as of recently, but in just keeping up with people and following the feed on Facebook. And it's interesting because we look at these sites and all this video that we can create, and it captures the world that we're living in that moment. But rather than interacting with the world in the moment, we're participating in these renderings of the past, sitting in front of a screen. Now, all these technologies that we use, such as the phone that I'm recording these videos on, and the screens, be it a phone or a computer or a TV and streaming device that you're watching it on, are made out of resources from the real world, harvested at the expense of things like forests in order to create mines to pull out the precious metals to make the circuitry that the chips in your computing devices are made of, in exchange for our ability to participate in the world in this way, in this virtual way. So, do we want to paint ourselves into a future in which our primary mode of interaction is based upon interacting with computers and air-conditioned cubicles and getting into our cars to go home and sit in front of more screens until we wake up and do it again the next day? Or do we want to reconnect with the natural real world in a more traditional kind of way, where more of our time is spent interacting with what's directly around us, appreciating the moment for what it is? It's curious to look at the science fiction portrayals of how things could come to be. For example, like the Matrix, where we're literally plugging into computers and living as vegetables on IV style drips of life support, and everything's just going on in here rather than in our own physicality. I bring up the point of the Matrix scenario because we already have embedded chips for pets such as dogs and cats to monitor where they are so we can better keep track of them. And with the progression of the way that things are going, it seems that we could well be on our way to having chips in our own physicalities to monitor whatever else is going on, or maybe even to directly connect us into the internet neurologically with some kind of chip that has a Wi-Fi receptor in it. And we'd probably voluntarily accept that kind of technology. It'd be like smartphones today. I mean, I like my smartphone. It's super convenient. So why not have a chip that could do everything the smartphone does right in my arm, and then I'm just seeing it as like an opaque overlay of my vision when I want to. But think of this. Think of all the apps we use like Facebook and etc., where we voluntarily input our geographic locations, our information, who we're with, what we're doing, tag. It's a curious evolution of our state of existence. And the progression that it's heading towards isn't one that I particularly want to live in. I like technology for the ability that it provides of easing our lives and of making available information. But I don't like it in the sense that I wouldn't exchange our real world existence, no matter how much of a struggle it can be, for a life as a vegetable plugged into a machine. There's a big push in our economy for job creation in the technology market. And to those of you participating in that realm, I please ask you to consider the direction that we're heading. And for all of us, because as modern humans, we're participating in the consumer products released and integrating them into our lives, I ask that we all consider how we are integrating these technologies and what direction we are heading. Let's not only maintain our connection with the real world, but maybe increase it a bit. Step back from the screens and revitalize our attachment with our surroundings. Think about it. What could you do in your life to increase your presence? Resonant beings, be well.